Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. Vermont is the leading producer of maple in the United States. The sweet stuff is an important part of our culture, our agricultural economy, and our working landscape. Sugar makers are proud of the quality products they produce and the care they take of the natural environment. Technology has changed the way sugar makers go about their business, but Vermont still has sugaring operations that do things the old-fashioned way. Keith Silva tells us about one Vermonter who believes in sugaring as a family.
Charles Patty, call him Bill, everyone else does, follows a simple philosophy to make maple syrup.
Work hard, keep it clean, and enjoy it.
Maybe Bill missed his calling as a poet. Ask him about his business, and it turns out he's as wise as he is humble.
Well, it's just a family sugaring operation. We tap 2,000 buckets, gather with Kubotas instead of horses. Other than that, it's kind of like Grandpa did, right?
Patty has spent his life farming and sugaring, but it wasn't until he built this sugar house that he and his family decided to go into the maple business for themselves.
We built this sugar house in 2001. Prior to that, I sugared pretty much boiled for someone or boiled ourselves way back as a kid with my grandfather and father, and pretty much something we've done forever. We didn't have a tractor when I was a kid on the farm, so we did everything with horses. So.
Do you miss those days?
Don't miss the horses. I like horses though because they buy hay.
Patty's lack of nostalgia for the old days of sugaring stops at horses. The family still gathers sap in buckets instead of using a more modern pipeline system. Lucky for the Pattys, they've got a willing and eager workforce made up of their grandsons Dylan, Colby, and Brendan, and a neighbor, Tyler.
With us at our size, it's fun to gather. The family gathers. It's a good time out there until the days that you have to gather just with two, and then it's not as much fun. The young boys get all excited about it. They can't wait to get started. Of course, they can't wait to finish when we get towards the end either, but...
What about the older boy?
Me? I'm getting older, yeah. No, it's fun. We still like it. As long as everybody sticks together, we'll keep doing it, so.
The boys have built homemade rigs out in back of the sugar house. They've got a competition going to see who can make the most syrup the old-fashioned way, using a kettle over an open flame. While things heat up outside, inside, the sap bubbles away in the pans. Like the buckets, there's not much modernization in this sugar house. Wood, not propane, fires the evaporator, and there are no efficiency-increasing devices like a reverse osmosis system or a preheater pan that are commonplace in most maple operations nowadays. This is how the Patty sugar. It works for them.
When we bought the new sugar rig, my son and I wanted to put a preheater pan in the back, and the wife said no. If we're going to sugar, we're going to have steam in the sugar house. So that's how it stayed, and that's how we've been ever since. And we've made some good syrup with it, so we're just sticking with it. It's a big expense. The RO's a lot of money, and you got to have the building to store the RO in to keep it heated. And like I said, it's just a family project that we enjoy doing it and doing it this way. No need to spend that extra money to have fun. Well done. Looking good.
A sugar maker is both scientist and artist. Technology boosts efficiency and increases profits, but the process of making maple syrup is only the means to an end. The product is what matters most. Mark Isselhar works as a maple specialist for University of Vermont Extension.
The small operations, ones that might use buckets, are really important to the image, the marketing of maple, because a lot of times the story of maple is told with this older technique of collection. It's not so much the process as it is the product that's critical. Making sure high quality product across the board is what's important.
Like I said, it started out good early, February.
Yeah.
And then after that...
Garth Atherton has known Bill for years. He's a sugar maker too, and has worked as a maple equipment salesman.
Right.
It was Garth who emailed across the fence to tell us about his friend and the award-winning syrup he and his family produce.
I've been to over 30 international and North American Maple Syrup Council meetings, and my knowledge, I've never seen one person win more than one award. The first one he won, I think, is probably a delicate, probably a light syrup, which is very delicate. It had more maple flavor than maybe you would if it went through more advanced stages of today, because the longer you boil or enhance that syrup, the more the maple flavor comes out. You know what I mean? So that's what impressed me with it. You know, it's a family operation, and I think they do a super job. It ties the family together, and they have a wonderful job doing it. And I really enjoy coming up and meeting with them every year. You know,
The Patties have placed first twice and were awarded Best in Show in 2010 by the North American Maple Syrup Council, an international organization made up of 16 states and Canada. Bill's proud of the awards he and his family have won. It probably won't come as a surprise that accolades and prizes aren't why he's a sugar maker.
What do you like about this time of year?
Summer's coming. No, it's a lot of fun. It's the last thing you do before the winter's over, and it's just fun to be out there doing it, making some good syrup. We had the land, we had the maple trees, so we just wanted to do it for the kids.
It's like Bill says, work hard, keep it clean, and enjoy. It's how the Patty family makes maple and lives life. In Enosburg Falls, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.
Thank you, Keith. Up next, we're going to learn about the University of Vermont's Next Generation Food Systems Internship Program. The program was started by UVM's College of Agriculture and Life Sciences to give students experience in a variety of food-related businesses and organizations. Rebecca Gollin tells us more from Brook Farm in Vergennes.
I like to hear those little ducks quacking.
It's a typical day on the farm. That is, it's a typical day here at Brook Farm in Ferrisburg.
I came here with the intention of reactivating the farm in 2006, and I tried a number of different things. Some worked better than others, but my passion has always been cereals. And
Eric Andrus owns the farm. The land is flat with heavy clay soil and poor drainage. Growing grains here was not working.
We had wheat crops suffer from excessive rain and poor drainage several times. Almost 20 years ago, I lived in Japan, in a northern area of Japan, and saw rice being grown in a temperate climate. So I knew that it could be done because hundreds of thousands of people do it over there very successfully, even though it's as cold as New England.
Andrus decided to give rice a try. But as every farmer knows, growing any type of crop means fighting the insects and weeds that come along. Andrus went with a traditional solution.
We're dealing with aquatic weeds growing in amongst our crop. And there are several ways of dealing with these. One is systemic herbicides, which are unacceptable to us for ecological reasons. And another one is to go in there and physically remove the weeds by hand, which is also unacceptable to us. So that really leaves this multi-species method of raising rice and ducks together.
Integrating ducklings into his rice paddies keeps the weeds and insects at a minimum, with the plants growing in neat lines. These ducks aren't the only ones helping Andrus on the farm.
The relationship between us and the ducks is really critical to the success of the farm because they live for a few weeks off the paddy until they get bigger, and we're able to form that relationship with them. So from the first day we got them, we would sing every time we feed them. That way they know our voices, they associate the singing with being fed.
Elise Schumacher and Isabella Madoff are students at the University of Vermont. They're spending the summer as interns here at Brook.
I've always been very interested in farming, but more non-traditional farming. I worked on a hydroponic operation in high school because I'm so interested in the environmental effects of farming and how we can be more resilient in the ways that we produce food for a growing population. So learning about a farm that was growing rice in Vermont, something that's really a staple in so many people's diets, and in an area that's like naturally a wetland, it just makes sense.
It's part of a new internship program at UVM that aims to better prepare students to enter the workforce.
The Next Generation Food Systems Internship Program is really the flagship internship program for the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. It provides opportunities for students to get hands-on experience in a food systems business and thus prepares them to be part of the next generation food system workers.
Matt Meyers is the coordinator for the program. It's supported by an anonymous donor who wanted to give students more opportunities to get hands-on experience.
We have a philanthropist who is supporting the internships for 12 students this summer who each work in a different food systems related business, and it may be a value-added making cheese from milk, it may be doing outreach and marketing. But either way, they're preparing for roles in the next generation of food systems workers. And in the meantime, they're learning about their career interests and learning about who they are and what they want to do in the world as food systems employees in the future.
Meyer says that there has been growth in jobs in Vermont in the food systems sector, as well as strong interest among college students.
I've always had summer jobs in like hospitality, working in restaurants, and like I knew that I could go home this summer and make a lot more money, but kind of just be doing the same thing. And though I do like doing that work, it's not super fulfilling. And so then when I had the opportunity to be here and be at Brook, I kind of took it just to like learn something different. And I also didn't want to work on like a regular farm, even though I love regular farms also. I wanted to be learning something that other people weren't really doing, just like something that, I don't know, I felt like I was a part of something kind of special. But on top of that, I have just been learning a lot of practical skills, like basic carpentry, which I knew a little bit, but you know, you don't really learn that when you work in a restaurant or things like that. Yeah, basic like electrical wiring we were working on yesterday.
It's been amazing. It's definitely the funnest job I've had. It's different every day. We change, like there's definitely like rhythms for different times of the summer, different days of the week. We were like doing some carpentry work, building duck houses. The first few weeks we were down on the patty, planting all the plants with the machines. So I've really learned a lot more than I thought I would.
For Andres, having students on the farm helps him be successful. It's also an opportunity to share what he's learned.
Bella is environmental studies major, and Elise is food systems major. And this is like the applied section of the curriculum. So you can study how ecological agriculture works in theory. You can study how food systems entrepreneurship works in theory, but this is applied. This is the real world out here. And we have to use the limited number of hours in the day and the limited number of dollars in the budget to make these goals achievable in real time, you know, in the limited amount of space between the beginning of the season when they come on board in early June, by the end of August, we want to see results.
For these students, as well as the rest of the next generation food systems interns around the state, it's a chance to take their learning from the classroom to the field.
I learned so much about, like, you know, environmental economics and food systems and policy and all these things in school and class, and then coming here and kind of just being taken in as like a part of the farm, kind of a part of like Eric's family basically, and talking to him just in conversation and seeing him physically like have to fill out reports or like trying to get his USDA approval, like all of these things, like it's just really seeing it put to action, and being a part of that, you really see just what's happening and why things are the way they are.
Putting learning into action on the farm and making new friends along the way. In Ferrisburg, I'm Rebecca Golland with Across the Fence.
Thank you, Rebecca, and thank you for joining us. That's our program for today. I'm Judy Simpson. I'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.